Welcome back to Music Theory with Skylar. Today, Life Hacks Part 2, Alto and Tenor Clef Life Hacks. Let's get right into it. So, just like treble and bass clef, I highly recommend you memorize the notes first. So, in alto clef, the lines are F, A, C, E, G, and the spaces are G, B, D, F. And in tenor clef, the lines are D, F, A, C, E, and the spaces are E, G, B, D. Additionally, and here's your first little life hack. So, this symbol that they use, it's the same for alto and tenor clef. The only thing that changes is where it's centered on behind the staff. So, the way you can kind of view the symbol is the center of it is always going to be C. So this is alto clef. So this middle line is always going to be C. And in the case of tenor clef, this is the line that the clef is centered around. So that note is always going to be C. So let's just get right into the hack. What is the hack? So let's talk about alto clef first. So for treble clef readers, again, kind of like last episode with bass clef and treble clef, what is the distance between these two notes? Well, it's very simple, actually. It's a lot easier than treble or bass clef, apparently. You only move it up one note, and similarly for bass clef, you only move it down one note. So very easy. For treble clef readers, read up one note, and for bass clef readers, only read down one note. Simple. But what about tenor clef? And so the tenor clef is not as simple for bass clef readers, unfortunately. So bass clef, you got the blunt end of the stick. But it's more brain power, I guess. Good for your brain. So for treble clef, it's pretty similar. You're kind of like bass clef on the last one. You're reading down one note, so very simple. But for bass clef, there's a little more distance between the notes. So this is C in bass clef, and this is C in tenor clef. What's the distance between the notes? So if I were to go down, it would be 1, 2, 3 notes. So we can view this as down 3 lines or spaces. But what if you need to read it in a different octave? Well, you can also view this as going up 4 lines or spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on that line. So that one's a little more complicated, but I think that it's something good to get used to. So let's try some examples. Alrighty, let's talk about treble clef first. So so you're a treble clef reader and you see this note in alto clef. How do you figure it out? Well, our little hack says that we move the note up one. So that note is G. And then for tenor clef, the other way around, we move it down one. So this note, and remember the flat, is F flat. And then now let's get the bass clef. How do we figure out what this note is? Well, our hack said move it down one note. This right here, you should know what that is if you're a bass clef reader, F sharp. And then for tenor clef, let's figure this out. So our hack said down 3 or up 4. So if we were to go down 3, you would have 1, 2, 3, the first space. And then if we were to go up, it should be the same note, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the same note but in different octaves. That note is A. I hope you found this guide helpful, and have a great day.